and want to get right to the Newsmaker Hotline. Welcome on into the program, Senator Bill Haggerty. Senator, always great to talk to you. Let's talk shutdown. So, of course, we all know, I've been covering it this morning, that we are, about 15, 16 hours away from a possible shutdown. What's the latest?
Well, the latest is the Democrats seem to be dug in. They have no plan. Dan, it just seems that fight Trump, resist Trump, that seems to be their theme all the way along. And in fact, it's their resistance that has landed us here. We've not been able to process the appropriation bills that the Senate normally should process because Chuck Schumer has blocked the floor, denied us the ability to even put President Trump's appointees into office. I don't know if I've shared these data with you before, but if you go back to Bill Clinton, when he put his nominees in front of the U.S. Senate, 98% of them passed through a normal process called consent. Swiftly, quickly done, they were put into office. By Barack Obama's turn, it was 90%. Today, we're at 0%. That means that Chuck Schumer is forcing every one of our nominees through this extensive cloture process. They did it to me when I was nominated to be U.S. Ambassador to Japan, shut down the Senate for 30 hours to debate my nomination to be U.S. Ambassador to Japan. At the end of the day, 88 senators voted for me. It wasn't controversial. They're just doing this to delay. These delay tactics have prevented us from being able to process our appropriations bills. We're close. We're asking them to move the line on into November to just extend the Biden budget, if you can believe this, that they've all voted for before. But instead, they'd rather demand an extra $1 trillion of expenditures, and they're going to shut the government down. And they're going to precipitate, I think President Trump's been clear, they're going to precipitate and accelerate the firings of more redundant federal employees that they've been seemingly so concerned about. They're actually going to be the ones to drop the hammer on these employees next.
Senator Bill Haggerty is joining us. One of the things that Schumer is out there saying is that the Republicans have not included the Democrats in the negotiation with all of this. And I'm assuming that that's BS because that's not necessarily how things work. But I mean, tell me about how the negotiations have been going there in the Senate and the House.
Well, Chuck Schumer shouldn't be involved in the negotiation. The negotiation should be happening on the floor of the Appropriations Committee, which he does not serve on. What he's done is denied us the ability to do that. The type of negotiation he's talking about are the backroom deals that Washington is so famous for, Dan. He wants to be able to negotiate in a back room. He wants to be able to hijack the American public. He wants to be able to threaten to shut the government down so he can get what he wants, in this case, an extra $1 trillion worth of wasteful spending. They're not willing to come to the table on a rational basis and work with us and negotiate with us. That's the deal in front of them on the table right now. Extend this. Let's finish the appropriations process where his colleagues and the Democrats in the Senate are all well represented on the Appropriations Committee. But rather than do that, he'd rather try to force some sort of backroom deal. And again, this $1 trillion demand, is something that they've just cooked up. Nobody knows the full details of it, but this is a typical Chuck Schumer signature deal.
One of the things, let's talk about the sticking points. Of course, we know that one of the things that they want to do is fund health benefits for illegal aliens. And earlier I mentioned this, and our super text line blew up because there are so many Americans that simply cannot afford health insurance, yet the Democrats want to give free health benefits to illegal aliens. That is really, and I don't know if you're on TikTok, Senator, probably not, but there's a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram, and these are young Americans who are really angry because they don't have a job that helps provide for health insurance, and they can't afford it on, of course, the Obamacare exchanges since that whole thing took place. So they're questioning why exactly is it that the Democrats want to give health benefits to illegal aliens when Americans can't even afford it?
Well, it seems clear that they have not gotten off of their desire to continue to try to attract, and again, this is an incentive for people to enter our country illegally. They can get free health care. They continue to try to create these incentives. I put the legislation forward. Every single Democrat has voted against it, every Republican for it, by the way, to stop counting illegals in the census for the purpose of allocating congressional districts and electoral votes. That's the motive behind what the Democrats are doing. That's the reason that Joe Biden destroyed our border, and that's the reason people like Chuck Schumer continue to want to incentivize more illegal immigration, is because they're trying to backfill the blue cities that are located in sanctuary states, all of them which are losing normal citizens to states like ours in Tennessee. But you think about Illinois, you think about California, you think about New York. Where are the sanctuary cities? Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, Manhattan. They're losing population, and they're backfilling it with illegal immigrants. We've caught them on, in multiple circumstances, Democrat leaders saying they've got to have these illegals to save their congressional districts. That's what's going on, and this is just another manifestation of that. I think the American public is caught onto this. Chuck Schumer is bankrupting the American healthcare system for the sake of gaining more power. So Chuck Schumer, I mean, it's clear he's worried about being reelected. He's coming up in a few years for reelection. AOC hot on his trail. As a matter of fact, polling in New York shows that AOC would beat him soundly in a primary. So people are saying that this time it just feels different. You've been there for a while now, Senator. Does this possible shutdown looming, does it feel different to you this time? It feels like I think you've actually hit the nail on the head, Dan. It's as if it were a test of Chuck Schumer's manhood because they have no good argument. They've already voted for this budget. They're the reason that we're here, that we don't have the appropriations finished. That's, again, the Democrats' fault, their obstructionism. And now they've come up with all of these demands because when Chuck Schumer agreed to keep the government open in March, voted for this same continuing resolution, he was accused of taking a knee to Trump. AOC had a field day with this, saying that Chuck Schumer caved to Trump. So he's basically aligning with her arguments, which is fight Trump at every turn, no matter what the destruction might be to the American people, to our nation. It's all about sticking it to Trump, about fighting Trump. And so it seems to me that he's just going along with the far left cry of his party. I don't think he has any plan to navigate through all of this. I think it's going to be a very disastrous situation. We've got storms looming that could turn into hurricanes. It's very reckless to be doing this at this point in time, to shut the federal government down when we have wars going on abroad, when we have, major catastrophes potentially looming in the Caribbean right now if hurricanes come to shore. We all saw what happened with Helene. And Chuck Schumer's solution to all of this, let's just shut the government down.
Senator Bill Haggerty is joining us. Senator, coming up, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, just real quick so people know where I'm going. Of course, big news with Israel and Donald Trump. He's put out a big, major plan to find a peace between Israel and Hamas. I'm going to ask you about that. Also, I'm going to ask you about health care generally speaking, because a lot of people do want to know, okay, so is there a way that we can work to make health care cheaper? Obviously, the Democrats are not going to help. All right, so, Senator, let's talk about what can be done to try to help the American people with health care, because it is expensive.
No, it's terribly expensive and it's terribly inefficient. That's because the government's involvement is so extensive in it. One thing that we're aiming to do, and again, this has precipitated a lot of Chuck Schumer's wrath, is that we want to take people off of the government health care that don't deserve to be on it. Here we're talking about the illegal aliens that you and I just discussed a few minutes ago. Why should American taxpayers be funding their health care and depriving citizens of their ability to access their own? It makes the whole system more expensive. If you've been to an emergency room lately, it's flooded with people and translators and languages from every country being spoken. We have seen 10 to 20 million people flood our nation just in the past 4 years before President Trump got into office, and that is having severe consequences on our healthcare system. It's breaking it. So that's the first step, is to stop incentivizing and stop paying for those that shouldn't be on the healthcare system, to be subsidizing them. Similarly, for those people that are well capable of working, I'm talking about able-bodied people between the ages of 18 and 64 that don't have dependents, that are not disabled. If they're not willing to work at least 20 hours a week, Dan, come on.
Yep.
Then they should not be entitled to free health care. I think the American public, American taxpayers, tired of subsidizing those that could be working and aren't, and those that shouldn't be in this country and are. So those are two major steps of cleaning this up. And then I think we need to take a very hard look at the inefficiencies and how the government administers these programs, the fraud in it. There's work going on right now. I'm very confident that we will see real progress. But instead of screaming and clutching the pearls when doja rise, we should be opening our arms and embracing a fix to the system, because it is upside down right now.
All right, real quick, Israel and Hamas, this is very big news this morning, was yesterday as well. Huge. President Trump has the agreement of a whole bunch of Middle Eastern countries and also, of course, Israel on this. I think it's a 20, 21-point plan to effectively find peace in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas. What are you hearing? I know that really the ball is in Hamas's court.
It is. I talked to Steve Witkoff recently. Steve is President Trump's envoy to navigate all of this on the ground. He's doing a terrific job. President Trump brought in a business person that understands actually how to negotiate deals. This, in business parlance, this is the best and final offer to Hamas. And what President Trump has done brilliantly is he's brought on board everyone in the neighborhood and socialized this. They all agree this is what Hamas must do. There is a carrot and a stick here. The stick is very clear. President Trump is going to step back and let Israel do what it must if they refuse to do this. The carrot is they'll have a chance to see Gaza revitalized. They'll see new investment. It'll have to be under new management, of course, but that'll be a chance for the people of Gaza, the Palestinians, to actually have a future. I hope that the Palestinian populace there in Gaza is watching this very closely, and they realize how Hamas and Hamas's leadership have completely jeopardized their future. They've destroyed their way of life. This is their last chance. This is their best chance to move forward, and I hope that Hamas listens and heeds.
You know, one of my worries, Senator, is that you can't trust Hamas. You can't trust Iran as well. I'm assuming there would be some sort of an apparatus in place to monitor, to make sure that Iran and Hamas are not working together, even if there is some sort of a peace agreement, a peace accord, that Hamas is not able to slither back in and plot a surprise attack on Israel again.
Yes, I think it's going to take an extremely diligent perspective, but that's the important aspect of President Trump reaching out to neighbors like Egypt, to Qatar, to everyone in the neighborhood to say, look, we're all going to be involved in implementing peace and prosperity here. We're not going to turn it over to the UN as proven as feckless as they possibly could be. In fact, they were involved in the Hamas attacks. You look at their UN relief workers agency. No, we're going to actually rely on the countries in the neighborhood that have a vested interest in peace and security there, partner with them and make certain that what's delivered on the ground is peaceful, that it delivers prosperity at the same time. And again, Hamas can no longer manage this situation. They have to go.
Real quick, last question. We do have the National Guard supposed to be either today or at some point this week going into Memphis. Clearly, Memphis has a lot of crime problems. What are your thoughts?
Dan, I've been thinking about this for a long time. Since I was a kid, we've had problems with crime in Memphis. When I recruited companies to come to Tennessee, we had issues getting them to come to Memphis because of crime. We have a shot. I started this work back in November of last year with the mayor of Memphis, Paul Young. Those conversations led to the initial step of putting together a strike force. That strike force ended its work about 2.5 weeks ago. We've already nabbed about 500 of the worst criminals in Memphis. This was the quiet, stealth FBI maneuver, tripled the number of FBI, added more DEA officials there, and we have made a major first strike. President Trump saw the success of this, and it's now not just the National Guard. That's what gets the media. 16 federal agencies are involved, and even including the IRS, because these gangs that operate there have illicit revenue streams. We're going to charge these criminals federally. That means they're not going to the Shelby County Jail. They're going to Leavenworth. That's what we need, is to get these criminals out of our state. That's what's going to be underway starting again this week, a major effort. And Governor Lee and I have pledged to the people of Memphis that we will put in place the resources long-term to fill the gap. They've been consistently under-resourced when it comes to law enforcement. And rather than argue about, poor allocation of resources in the past, we're there to say we're going to help get this right going forward.
Senator, always great to have you on, and we'll talk to you again soon. And again, appreciate your perspective here on Nashville's Morning News.
Thank you, Dan. Always great to be with you. Thanks.
All right, 722 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. And it looks like Secretary of War. Is that what we're calling him? Secretary of War?
Yeah, it's a pretty nice title.
It is, and he is now speaking to. Let's just take this for like a couple of like 90 seconds. I want to hear what Pete Hegseth is saying in this much anticipated meeting. Joan, are you listening to this, by the way?
I was just listening.
You want it up?
Yeah, we pull it up real quick.
And real military capabilities. The War Department is tackling and prioritizing all of these things. And I'll be giving a speech next month that'll showcase the speed, innovation, and generational acquisition reforms we are undertaking urgently. Likewise, the nature of the threats we face in our hemisphere and in deterring China is another speech for another day, coming soon. This speech Today, as I drink my coffee, this speech today is about people, and it's about culture. The topic today is about the nature of ourselves. Because no plan, no program, no reform, no formation will ultimately succeed unless we have the right people and the right culture at the War Department. If I've learned one core lesson in my 8 months in this job, it's that personnel is policy. Personnel is policy. The best way to take care of troops is to give them good leaders committed to the warfighting culture of the department. Not perfect leaders, good leaders. Competent, qualified, professional, agile, aggressive, innovative, risk-taking, apolitical, faithful to their oath and to the Constitution. Eugene Sledge, in his World War II memoir, wrote, quote, "War is brutish, inglorious, and a terrible waste. Combat leaves an indelible mark on those who are forced to endure it. The only redeeming factors are my comrades' incredible bravery and their devotion to each other." In combat, there are thousands of variables, as I learned in Iraq and Afghanistan, and as so many of you did in so many more places. Leaders can only control about 3 of them. You control how well you're trained, mostly how well you're equipped, and the last variable is how well you lead. After that, you're on your own. Our warfighters are entitled to be led by the best and most capable leaders. That is who we need you all to be.
All right, so it sounds like, Joan, it's a nice pep talk.
Yep.
I suppose. Now, before we chimed in, and we can't take the whole thing, but before we chimed in, what was he saying? You said that you were monitoring it. Did he have anything else to say?
No, I mean, it really does seem like a pep talk. Times are changing. We need to change. It's
culture.
Why we're culture. It's why we're calling ourselves Department of War. Here's how it's going to be framed. There's no specifics right now. That'll all happen behind closed doors in a while.
Well, remember, so Trump is going to be making an announcement later on, and then there's going to be some executive orders signed around 2 o'clock.
So I was listening a little bit before, and he is also laying out kind of a new mantra that we're going to have peace through strength, and that if you FA, you will FO.
FA?
And FO.
Oh, God. FA.
Fool around and find out.
Yes.
See?
But I got a little playfully salty, Joan.
You did?
With one of the super texters.
Okay.
So this is what he says. This is 2547. Local news was switching to Good Morning America as I was walking out the door this morning, and with all that is going on, she says, their big headline was that Trump shared a deep fake video on social media overnight. So, I don't know, is that the one that we played earlier with the...
Yeah.
Are they really making a big deal out of that?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. He shares fake news. Don't you know that, Dan?
Fake news.
Yeah.
Fake news.
So I texted back to said person at 2547, LOL, that's why you need to watch us on YouTube at home. Problem solved.
There you go.
It is, because we don't waste any time here.
Except for that one Justin Bieber song.
Shut up, Sam. By the way, if you watch us on YouTube, we're talking about this. So we just got off the phone with Senator Haggerty, and we're talking about health care. Earlier in the broadcast, I was playing audio of a woman who was really angry. I mean, she was MFing this, MFing that, because the Democrats want to give hundreds of billions of dollars of, free medical benefits to illegal aliens. And she wants to know, what about America? What about us? So I made a joke. What we ought to do is Schumer had an American flag lapel on his jacket. And I said, you take off the American flag, and what you need to do is put on a whole bunch of foreign flags, like the flag of Mexico, the flag of Honduras, El Salvador, all of these other places where all of these illegal aliens are coming from, because that truly is who Chuck Schumer really does truly represent. He doesn't represent American citizens. He wants all of these illegal aliens to get all of these medical benefits. Well, so Sam, of course, being the genius that he is, he went ahead and he put something together, Joan. If you follow, where is this? Can people find it on your page?
They can find it on my page. They might see you mentioned at the Dan Mandis show if they want to find it on Sam P. Rutherford on X. It's
and
right
if you're
there.
watching on YouTube, so it is Chuck Schumer, and he's got all the lapel pins of all of these foreign nations. I don't pretend to know which ones they are, but I'm assuming they're all the pins of these nations where all these foreigners are coming into America illegally, and that's what Chuck Schumer wants.
I typed in add flag pins of Central and South American countries, and boy, did it just fill up the other side of his lapel.
And I like how he's holding a piece of paper that says "Screw citizens."
Yep.
But you need to adjust that where it's got to say "Screw U.S. citizens."
That's too much for
Is it too much for ChatGPT?
Well, so ChatGPT created Chuck Schumer's pins, and then Grok added the text because AI really struggles with typing out words still for whatever reason.
Got it. You know what? Maybe in a couple of weeks.
Maybe.
Because AI is working
As it learns.
as it learns. That's exactly right. I think Senator Haggerty, I think he's absolutely right about Chuck Schumer, and I brought this up earlier, about how things do feel different in Washington, D.C., where there is, and even Donald Trump said, and, looming shutdown, it is 12:01 tomorrow morning after midnight is when the government will shut down.
When you're getting up to have your first cup of coffee.
When I'm getting up to have my first cup of coffee, the government will officially be shut down. So they really are freaking out about this AI commercial with Hakeem Jeffries.
But they're not freaking out about the fact that Chuck Schumer's been a elected official since 1981, and I don't know if he's ever accomplished anything significant.
No. Let me see if I can grab it real quick, because it is funny. And it is on my Twitter feed, because we played it way earlier in the broadcast, but I want to see if I can find it again for folks, because it is funny. It is very funny. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. Dadgummit.
Go to my page. It's right there. That way you make sure you get the clean version.
Yes. Sam P.
Rutherford.
Sam P. Rutherford. By the way, Joan, you're monitoring Pete Hegseth and his and his speech. And
I have some really good stuff from that speech.
Go ahead while I'm trying to find this thing. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
All right.
CNN switched to a poll.
Wait, hold on one sec.
Formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test.
Don't you just love that?
So
more fat generals.
He's going after the fat general. So how many generals are like sitting there thinking, "Oh, I knew I shouldn't have had the donuts."
Yeah.
You imagine that they had like a table out front before they sat down, and there was donuts on one side and like maybe some oatmeal bars on the other.
Oh, you know what?
The herd.
And they probably have cameras trying to see who actually grabbed the donuts and who grabbed the fruit or the oat bars or whatever it is. So it sounds like he's throwing down, a bit of a gauntlet, and I personally love that. And now the question is, somebody said that what they were going to do was make these generals and these admirals see if they could, do a workout.
They have to pass a test. They're going to have a test.
Is that what they're going to do, Joan?
They're going to have to meet height and weight requirements. If you're this tall, you can't weigh more than this. And you've got to be able to do so many push-ups, so many chin-up, whatever it is. They've got to pass a physical exam now every single year.
I think they call them pull-ups.
That too.
Chin-ups, the thing like that?
Pull-up, yeah. I think
Sam,
girls
how many?
do
Okay,
chin-ups.
so how many of those could you do, Sam?
Chin-ups are easier, so probably about, 10 before I'd give out.
Joan?
Pull-ups, I'm going to go for like 3.
What's the difference between a chin-up and a pull-up?
So chin-up is the underhanded grip,
Okay.
and you're pulling just to your chin. A pull-up is a wide-handed grip with your hands facing forward, and you're pulling.
Okay, got it.
Your whole weight up. Trying to get kind of to your
Can you
chest.
do any of those, Dan?
I think I'd be able to walk to the park where I could find such things to do such things.
I like weights more than I like my own weight.
And then I would stop there. All right, coming up, I do have the clean version of what apparently local news and mainstream media is hyperventilating over, which is Donald Trump sending out a, what are they calling it again? A AI
deep fake.
Oh, that's right, a deep fake video.
Come on, they're cheap fakes because
Cheap
that's
fakes,
what-
deep fakes.
Yeah.
We're going to
That's what
play
our
that
girl
because
calls
it is. I'm telling you, folks, it is really funny. 2547, and by the way, it's a she. She says, I don't start listening until my drive because I haven't had my Monster Energy yet. No way I can keep up with Dan until I've had my Monster. I'll take that is a compliment, right?
Yeah.
All right, very good. Thank you for that. You ready for this? If you're watching us on YouTube or any of the other places you can watch us, you will laugh along with all of us, but it's great. It's great audio, too. You've got Chuck Schumer. Hakeem Jeffries is there, and Hakeem...
That's Hakeem Hefe.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. He's got a sombrero on, and he's got a mustache with handlebars, and it's like dyed black, so he looks very Spanish or Mexican or whatever. And this is what Chuck Schumer has to say in this deep fake, cheap fake video that was posted by Donald Trump, and a lead story apparently on all the news stations.
Look, guys, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Nobody likes Democrats anymore. We have no voters left because of all of our woke trans bull. Not even black people want to vote for us anymore. Even Latinos hate us. So we need new voters. And if we give all these illegal aliens free health care, we might be able to get them on our side so they can vote for us. They can't even speak English, so they won't realize we're just a bunch of woke pieces of shit, you know, at least for a while until they learn English and they realize they hate us too. Look, guys.
You know what the funny thing is? Where is he wrong? Like, even deep fake, cheap fake Chuck Schumer is actually right there. The reason why they're doing this, and I mean, we just had Senator Bill Haggerty on. Reason why Democrats are doing this, and they're killing their own party, by the way. They're killing their own party because people are sick to death of being put after illegal aliens because that is what's going on. And so the more that they do this, the more we are going to have people that are incredibly angry about the fact that, as I spoke about this with Bill Haggerty, people are frustrated because they can't afford health insurance. Here's the audio that I've played a number of times today. And the reason I'm playing this particular piece of audio is because, I could play the audio from J.D. Vance. I could play the audio from Donald Trump. I could play the audio from any number of well-paid senators and representatives, congressmen, and so forth. But how do the people of America feel about what the Democrats are doing, putting illegal aliens in front of the American people?
The Democrats want to give away $1.4 billion of free money to the immigrants for health care. And if the other side don't agree with it, they talking about shutting down the how the do you bite so hard for everybody but your own people? I'm sorry. What about us? What about us struggle to pay for health care?
Yep.
And even though we pay a fortune, it still ain't enough. Are you kidding me?
Nope, not kidding you. See, that's why the Democrats, and that's why the deep fake, cheap fake Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries video is actually real.
Yeah.
In the sense that, you know what? Nobody likes their woke policies anymore. The Democrats know that they are as irrelevant as ever. Everyone knows that the only reason why Chuck Schumer is still around right now is because he has not been up for re-election since he, I'm air quoting here, caved to the Republicans the first time. And so now He's holding firm. Well, then guess what's going to happen? People like this woman are going to notice that they're putting illegal aliens and their health benefits ahead of her and other Americans.
I was going to say CNN had a poll up. They cut from Hegseth's speech that he's got going right now, and they were showing a poll from Democrats on, are you confident that there are capable leaders within the party? And it was 54% of Democrats said no to both sides. 35% said, well, yeah, we have some. And then, 11% of only 11% said anything nice about Republicans. So 54% say that neither party has good leaders in it.
Yeah.
And that 35% of the pollsters said their own party doesn't have any good leaders in it.
I think the Republican Party, though, is far more behind their leaders than the Democrats are behind theirs.
That's why they call us a cult.
Is that why they call us a cult? Is that what it is?
Even though they're the ones, separating families over politics, which is what a cult would do. It separates you from your family.
That's exactly right. Thank you, Sam. It is 7:51 on Nashville's Morning News. And Joan has been monitoring Pete Hegseth and his big speech. Joan, do you have anything else? Any good, tasty, delicious audio from Pete Hegseth?
Yeah. Okay. You ready for this one?
Yes.
So this is him. Now, he's going to be called a sexist. I got to let you know, they're going to be all over him after this part of the speech. He's talking about the standards of physical fitness. And here we go.
That are arriving at your commands as we speak and in your inbox. Today, at my direction, each service will ensure that every requirement for every combat MOS, for every designated combat arms position, returns to the highest male standard only. Because this job is life or death. Standards must be met. And not just met, at every level, we should seek to exceed the standard, to push the envelope, to compete. It's common sense. And core to who we are and what we do, it should be in our DNA.
Boom.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a sexist.
Yep. He's going to be called all kinds of names after today.
Well, you know what? I mean, he's right. I mean, this is life or death.
It is.
I don't know, Joan, I'm not a female, although some of you might disagree. But how do you feel about that, Joan?
I feel like that's the core mission of the people who serve in our military is to protect us. If you're a fat general sitting in your armchair, calling on a fat military member to protect me, and they can't because they're too fat and out of shape, they're not protecting us.
I can't help but think about that assistant fire chief in L.A. saying that, your husband got himself in the wrong spot if I have to rescue him from a burning house. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So you want to do a quick Daily Dan poll? Because we've fallen off the daily poll. So let's try to make a concerted effort to get those back. So go to YouTube, and which should we do? Do you want to do the male standards, or do you want to do the overweight generals and admirals? Which one should we do?
I feel like the male standards got more zest to it.
All right, let's do the male standards. So do you agree that the U.S. military should only have one standard, and that is the standards that they have for males? So there you go.
For military, or for the combat ready and arms carrying positions. Let's clarify that.